What is up, weirdos? You're listening to the Manic Pixie Weirdo. I'm Abigail, your host, and this is the podcast where we talk about all the different kinds of relationships that we have in our lives. And this week we have Dani Williamson with us. You can say hi.
Hello. So excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy to talk to you. Oh, this is going to be such a good conversation. And we're here to talk about our relationship with being well and like what that means and all the different aspects that go into being well. So, Dani, could you go ahead and just tell everybody like a little bit about you, your background, and like where they can find you?
Absolutely. I'm a nurse practitioner and a family nurse practitioner in Franklin, Tennessee, and I own a clinic, Integrative Family Medicine here in Tennessee, and I work on helping patients become well, as you say, from the inside out. And I help them realize that if they weren't born sick, they don't have to be sick. And whatever it is that they have turned on, I am living proof that you can turn off. I grew up in a complete and total shithole of chaos in my life for the first 18 years. And there was molestation in there. There was physical abuse, and I had chronic diarrhea from a young age and had my first colonoscopy at age 20. Fast forward, I had four colonoscopies before I was 44, chronic itching, diagnosed with lupus at 33, depression. I was suicidal. I remember the day I was going to drive off the foot of Broadway into the Ohio River in Paducah, Kentucky. My mother had attempted suicide multiple times. My grandfather had died by suicide. And I made a decision that morning not to after I saw my children that day. And I'm grateful I didn't. But a year later, I was a single mom on food stamps, divorced, and I decided to apply to nursing school at 40. And I got in, and I left for nurse practitioner school on food stamps and a medical card, and $196,000 later in student loan debt. I was sicker than ever. And it took 24 years and 10 doctors before a doctor ever leaned into me, looked me square in the eye and said, Dani, what are you eating? Don't you know your diet controls your disease? Do you take digestive enzymes and probiotics every day? And do you know your food sensitivities? It turned my entire world and health around 11 years ago. And since then, I have helped thousands of men and women regain their health by doing exactly what I did, decreasing the inflammation in their body and building up their immune system. It's what I do every day. It's a passion of mine. It's why I wrote the book, so that people who can't see me can learn to live wild and well and get their life back that they were designed to live. It's not easy, but it is incredible. And I am living proof you can turn around anything. A lifetime of chronic disease, given a diagnosis of lupus where the rheumatologist had her hand on the door, looked me square in the eye also and said, Danielle, there's no cure for lupus. It kills women every year. What? Here's your pain medicine. Here's your anti-inflammatories. And I didn't know anything about functional medicine. I was 35 years old, 2 little kids, in a bad marriage, and just eating anything I wanted. And I had no idea. And I knew that didn't sound like a life I wanted. And it still took me 9 years after that before somebody ever turned me around. And what's at the end of your fork, Abigail, is way more powerful than what's at the bottom of your pill bottle. And when I learned that, and when I had help figuring out what my food sensitivities were, my entire world turned around. And I am going to preach it from the mountaintops until the day I die, that you were not born sick. You don't have to be sick, and you can live wild and well the rest of your life. It takes a lot of work.
Oh, yeah. Well, like anything, it's a journey, and it can take
a
long time, but it's okay.
Well, and I told a woman this today, 58 years old, in my office, brand new patient, a list a mile long: fibromyalgia, breast implant illness, Hashimoto's, depression, suicidal. I mean, lots and lots of conditions, a tremendous amount of pharmaceuticals. She's 58. And I looked her in the eye and I said, listen, this took 58 years for you to get on this couch here in my office. 58 years. It's going to take longer than 5 weeks to turn around. But I am telling you, after 1 week of eating clean and cutting out the top 7 inflammatory foods, and I mean, you're going to start to see a difference in your pain, in your energy. But in 6 weeks, you're not going to feel great. 6 months, you may not be, but you are going to be better than you were today. I guarantee it, because the body wants to be well. The body wants to heal. The body wants to right ship and be 150%, but you have to give it what it needs.
Yeah, you do. Okay. So just to start off, what is the difference between being well and being okay? Because I think a lot of us are just probably okay. We might not know that we're just okay, but I do think there is a difference.
Yeah. And you don't know that you're just okay until you start to get well.
Right.
Many people don't know. Most of us are on a slippery slope through decades of slow decline. Most people. Now, some people have something traumatic and boom, they're okay one day and they're really, really bad the next day. But the difference between well and okay, I mean, okay is something I think that people slide into slowly. Well is living your best life, right? Your best wild and well life. I mean, it's waking up and it's feeling good when you get out of bed in the morning. We are supposed to feel rested when we get up in the morning, right? Somebody who's okay just hits the snooze alarm 3 or 4 times and rolls out of bed and maybe doesn't even start to feel good until noon, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. Well is, dang, I am on fire today and I'm going to have an incredible day. And they feel good in the afternoon. They don't crash out in the afternoon. Okay is just, crashing out in the afternoon and have to have a coffee to pick you back up again. I mean, well is being tired at night, because we should be tired at night by 9 o'clock. I mean, for crying out loud, we should be tired if we wake up and we get tired in the evening. So, there's a huge difference between well and okay. And we want to be well. We want to have that life that we were designed to live, that energy that little kids live. That's well. That's well. That's real well. What happens to us between that age, a toddler, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, and when you're 55 like me, is what gets you into just that okay.
Okay.
Right?
I see.
It's those years between there that chip away at you emotionally, physically, mentally, sexually, spiritually, right? And then you're just okay. And then you're just treading water. You're just dog pedaling, just trying to get through one day at a time. That's okay. Well is how I live right now, which is holy crap. I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow. I mean, I'm tired today at 6 o'clock tonight. I'm not really tired, but I had a really full day, but I was so excited about this. An okay person, they may have canceled this, right? And said, I just don't feel like doing it.
Right.
Yeah. And we want everyone to be well. I mean, to be well. And you don't realize it until you start to wake up feeling energized. You don't have to take a nap in the afternoon. And then you're like, whoa, I'm not ever going back to feeling just okay. I'm going to keep going on this journey.
Oh, yeah. So how, I can feel your energy and it's like, so it's
so
a
lot
fun.
Of energy.
No, it's so good. It's good. It's good. It makes me excited. So
I also have a lot of words, sis. So stop me if I'm being too talkative. I have a whole lot of words.
No, that's why we're here. We're here to listen to you talk.
Okay.
So, okay. So getting from okay to well, like we said, is a journey.
Yes.
Is it fair to compare that kind of to like a rock bottom, in the sense that, like, does somebody have to have an event, or does somebody have to have something that do you think that like everybody needs like a person or a thing to happen or an event to sort of like wake them up to the fact that like, I am just doing okay and I'm not well? Like, and what was it for you, if that is true?
Well, my event, so I was just okay, right? I was single mom, barely getting by, in nurse practitioner school and an accelerated program, kids in 2 other schools. I didn't feel good. I mean, I literally just was barely getting by, but I was doing it. I did it because you do what you have to do to survive. Now, some people lay down, some people get up, rise up, no matter what, but it was killing me. I got out of school, had a huge loan debt, and it was, for me, it was Dr. Dan Kalb 11 years ago, my job out of nurse practitioner school. I actually got fired the first job 6 months, not even 6 months in the job, as in the ER in Paducah, because I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't learning fast enough. Oh my Lord. So I got fired one day with 200 grand in student loans. I was devastated. And I said, but I love this job. I could learn this job if I got trained. And that doctor looked me square in the eye, looked me in the eye in that room. And he said, Dani, nobody loves this job. They only do it for the money. What?
Untrue.
I've never done anything for the money. So anyway, fast forward, bullshit. It was total bullshit. And so guess what? He's going to get a copy of this book signed. Thank you, Dr. S, because he's in the book, for giving me the best gift anyone ever gave me, firing me and telling me you're not smart enough. Okay, fast forward to, holy shit, I have no money. I am 200 grand in student loans. I have 2 little kids. I have no job. I just got fired. How humiliating is that? It was Dan Kalb, my second job out of nurse practitioner school, who said to me that day, Dani, what are you eating? Because he heard my gas. I had so much gas all the time. I burped, I farted, I did all the things in the hallway, and I would go, oh, excuse me. And, and I'm from the South, and, we don't fart and burp really good girls don't, but
no, we toot,
and I was,
we
toot or we poot or whatever. Yeah. And I farted, trust me. And so, I lived my entire life like that, farting and burping. And I thought it was normal. I thought everyone farted. And everyone does. We pass a lot of gas, right? But not, you shouldn't eat and just be just constant gas. And one day he's the doc who looked at me 11 years ago and said, Dani, what are you eating? Don't you know your diet controls your immune system? Well, no, I just graduated from Vanderbilt University, 3 years, 300 students in nurse practitioner school. I was the oldest one in that class at one part of it. And nobody ever told us that there's a root cause for your patient's illness. There's a root cause for their farting. There's a root cause for their burping. There's a root cause for their diarrhea. It's not normal to eat and have the mad shitters after you eat. That's not normal. And so he looked me in the eye and he said that to me, and it changed my entire world.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much to him.
Thank you to him, that's right. That's exactly right. And he changed my world. I hope he has changed thousands of patients' lives. He's changed, I hope, the trajectory of my children's lives, my grandchildren's lives, because garbage in equals garbage out. And I can say right now, I am on 2 pharmaceuticals, progesterone, bioidentical progesterone, and low dose naltrexone. I don't take anything for gut, for lupus. I'm not on anything because I took the time. I was 44 years old to heal my gut and to heal my body from the inside out. And it worked.
So beautiful. That's so beautiful. Side note, guys, I just want to say this. We here on the Manic Pixie Weirdo fully support anybody to go to school whenever they decide that is something for them to do. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how much money you're in debt at the end of it. Go to school if that's what you want to do.
I already had a
I am the daughter of 2 parents who did that. They had one job when I was born, and then they went back to school and did something, and then now they do something totally different. So do it. It doesn't matter.
I have a master's degree in fashion design, master's degree in fashion design. The only person through Vanderbilt University nurse practitioner school to ever have they raise their hand the first day. And I did that for 20 something years in fashion in New York City. In Paducah, I owned a maternity store, and I made a 180 turn at 40 because I thought, what am I going to do that's going to pay the bills, that would challenge me? I mean, good Lord. And I literally was on food stamps the entire time I went through Vanderbilt. That's a big school in Nashville. And, I was probably the only person on food, maybe not, but I was the only one who was vocal about it. And you can do anything you want. You can go back to school. You can make any decision you want. You can get out of a tough marriage. I was in a hard marriage and I was like, I'm not living the rest of my life like this. I don't know what this means, but I am not living my life like this. And if you are in a bad marriage, if you are in a bad job, if you are in bad relationships with people, you have the right to say, I'm done. I'm out. I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, friendships and all, you have the right to cut the soul suckers out of your life. Always, because that's a huge piece of my healing steps that I use with patients, right? You don't have to have the soul suckers in your life, and you don't have to be in a bad marriage. I was there. I know what it's like to lose everything, but I've also clawed my way back up through the pecking order here. And now I am living the best wild and well life that you could ever imagine, because I did what was right. And I did what was right for my kids. And now I have my health back. I have my happiness back. And I am just telling you, I don't have a relationship. That's the only thing I'm missing. I'm not missing it. But, I don't have a significant other. But I've got everything I need. I eat well. I travel well. I love well. But I just don't have anybody to love well right now. But that'll come when it comes. But I'm healthy as an ox. And you can too. Your listeners can be healthy.
So tell us a little bit about that. Like,
and if you have a healthcare, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was going to say, just like, could you tell us a little bit about that? Like how, like, what were those foods that like you were told, like, you need to stop eating these things? Like, I think we all kind of know that like Doritos are not good for us.
Oh,
the
top, what are the top foods?
Yes.
The top 7 foods.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I ate anything I wanted. I ate all the processed, packaged, bagged, canned, fake, man-made food that you could stand. I also ate vegetables and fruits and all that stuff. But I loved processed foods. I loved Sonic and Chick-fil-A and Chipotle, all the things. Now, Chipotle is not terrible, but there's worse than Chipotle. But the top 7 foods that Dr. Kalb asked me to cut out were gluten, dairy, soy, corn, sugar, eggs, and peanuts. Those are the top 7 inflammatory foods in the United States. Those are the top foods that create chronic, systemic inflammation in our bodies. What is that? High blood pressure, high cholesterol, anxiety, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, ADD, ADHD, joint pain, migraine headaches, period pain, PMS, gastritis, colitis, anything that ends in itis, Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Those are the top 7 foods that contribute to chronic lifestyle diseases. Those are foods or diseases that you weren't born with. So I did an elimination diet. I immediately cut those 7 foods out, kicking and screaming, by the way, because what are you going to eat? If you don't eat gluten, dairy, sugar, and corn, what the heck are you going to eat? That's what we all eat. What's up? Well, guess what?
Oh,
you're going to eat all the fresh nuts, seeds, fruits, vegetables, lean fish, chicken, pork, lamb, turkey you can stand. One ingredient food, the food that God made for us. That is the food that keeps you well. The food that makes you sick is the food that is in a bag, a box, a can, a tube, a roll in your refrigerator, your freezer, your cupboard that would still be here in 6 months. That's not food. That's Frankenfood. That's Frankenfood. Yes.
Yeah. And I think to a lot of people, it can sound like a lot at first. Mm-hmm. And the other thing too, is that like, although, okay. And I know that there's going to be a lot of pushback on this as far as like, it is a lot. It does sound like a lot. But if you think about it for longer than like 5 minutes, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, for thousands of years, people didn't have those kinds of foods to put into their body. And so it's only very recently that like we have had all of these like man-made processed, like, processed foods,
white foods. Right. After the industrial revolution is when we started getting sicker and sicker and sicker as things were automated. Things were processed, white wheat, white sugar, white flour, white dairy. And we started processing foods, and we started packaging foods, and then we made TV dinners and all that, all for convenience. Well, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, convenience is killing us. Look at what's happened the last 18 months. Look at this. This country is one of the sickest, most inflamed, overweight, under-exercised, under-moved countries in the world. And we are paying the price right now.
Mm-hmm.
Paying the price.
Yeah, we are.
Because we are so emotionally connected to food, it's not even funny. Everything we do revolves around food.
What
and when you ask them,
what do you think
they don't do that in other countries, right? I think it's convenient. I think we're overextended, we're overscheduled, all the things. We had an opportunity in 2020 to turn every bit of this around, and shame on us. Shame on us if we did not make the changes that needed to be done, because we were forced to slow down. We were forced to stop feeding our children in the car on the way to school. What? We were forced because there was no school, right? The kids were at home. We were forced to be at home. But you know what we did? The grocery stores, the processed food was bought out. But guess what? The vegetables, the collard greens, the kale, the cabbage, the Brussels sprouts, the oranges, all of those foods were rotting on the shelves because we went to comfort food when we got stressed out. But we had the time to turn this around. We had the time to learn how to cook at home, to actually cook a couple of recipes, right? To actually figure out how to cook something from scratch, to get our kids in the kitchen. And we chose the other route. We didn't exercise. We had an opportunity to move our bodies, because guess what? Getting outside and exercising would have been the best thing we could have done for ourselves, right?
Just in the backyard or whatever.
You bet. Just moving, walking, running. When you stop moving, you stop moving. And now we're in the middle of another crisis, right? Where we're having a surge, and yet we're not any healthier than we were. In fact, we're 25 pounds heavier than we were last year.
Are you serious? I didn't know that. Most people
are.
Yes. I had no idea.
Most of my patients are 20 pounds, 15 to 20 pounds heavier. Oh, well, that's all our fault, and that's on us. That is on us. But now we know we need to do better. And when you know better, you must do better. Right. You just must do better. There's a book, J.J. Virgin wrote a book called The Virgin Diet. I have used it for 8 years since it came out. It is 100% only the elimination diet. No gluten, dairy, soy, corn, sugar, eggs, peanuts. She breaks each food down into a chapter. And I've sold thousands of books for JJ, and I don't make a penny off of that. Sold thousands of books for her, because it will turn your life around in 21 days. 21 days. You cut those top 7 foods out. She gives you a systemic plan on how to do it. We can do that. You can change your diet. You have to eat well, but you also have to sleep well. Right. If you're not sleeping, you can't heal. Your body heals when you sleep.
Oh, I mean, yes. Yes. And for those of us that have insomnia.
Sorry, she fell asleep, guys. She fell asleep. I watched her. She just had complete total fell asleep.
I did. I took a nap.
No, if you can't sleep at night, you can't heal. Your body heals all night long, right? Mm-hmm. And if you've got a bedroom full of computers and phones and wireless routers and TVs, you're not going to sleep. All those electromagnetic fields. The bed is for sleep and sex only, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're not doing one or the other in it, get out. Don't you dare scroll on that phone at night. It's going to keep you awake, and it's going to disturb your circadian rhythm.
Oh, that's interesting. I never really thought about it that way, that it's for sex and it's for sleep, but anything in between is sort of useless.
I'm not having sex in my bed because clearly there's nobody in that bed, but I can read in my bed, because I get the beauty of reading a book, not my phone, which is going to disturb my circadian rhythm. You got to eat well, sleep well, you got to move well. If you don't move your body, you're going to lock up. My great friend, Dr. Derek Myers, says when you stop moving, you stop moving. Simple as that. You can't be well if you don't move. God designed this body, these limbs, these legs, these arms, this back to be pushed. Do it. Move the body. You got to eat well, sleep well, move well. You must poop well. If you don't poop, you can't be well. And if you poop once or twice a week, I'm sorry, that is bad news. You're supposed to poop every day and multiple times a day, ideally, like your dog. Your dog will eat, your dog eats and goes and poops. And they are very excited about it when they poop. And you should be as excited as well. You should poop a number 4 on the Bristol stool chart a couple of times a day. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. A good, healthy gut will eliminate everything you've put in it in 24 hours. It's one tube from the mouth to the anus when you think about it.
Right.
One long tube. Eat well, sleep well, move well, poop well, de-stress well.
How do you de-stress? Yeah. How do you de-stress?
Well, it's not easy. My mom has Alzheimer's disease. She's 76. I'm an only child. I live 2.5 hours away. It's not easy, but I do the best I can. I cut out all the soul suckers in my life. And you know what I did? I automated, eliminated, and delegated everything I could in my life. Automate everything you can. Eliminate everything that's not serving you well. I say yes to nothing that is going to stress me out. I just don't. I mean, and I thank goodness I don't have little kids. I'm not going to be the room mother anymore. I'm not going to do any of the things that stress me out, because guess what? Somebody will step up, and if they don't, who cares?
Right.
The world's still going to keep spinning. And so you have the right to cut out the stress in your life. If your job is bad, then find a new job. Because let me tell you right now, there's a million jobs open out there right now because nobody's working.
Yeah.
Find a new job, find a new spouse, or get out of a bad marriage.
Oh, yeah. So I kind of wanted to go back just for a second about like the eating well, because that's like the big thing. And we have a lot of like single parents that listen and stuff like that. Well, a couple of questions. How do you get little kids to not eat like Cheetos and just want Doritos and McDonald's Happy Meals and stuff like that? And how do you do it on a budget?
2 of my favorite questions. And I have all these videos on Instagram about this too, by the way.
Oh yeah. Go check her out on there.
They were not born picky. You created a picky child out of convenience. They were born wanting good food. Okay. We did it. First time we fed them chicken nuggets. There you go. Because fast food is designed to addict you. If you don't think that, you've got your head up your butt so far, you have no idea what's going on. If you don't understand what the food industry is about, the food industry is about addiction. There is a reason that Chick-fil-A tastes the same in Franklin, Tennessee, as it does in Dallas, Texas. It's made in a laboratory. That food is. Cracker Barrel biscuits taste the same here as they do in Destin, Florida. They were made in a lab. You, my friend, are a chemistry experiment. So when you feed your kid food like that, they're going to be addicted because we crave it. We crave Chick-fil-A. Salt, sugar, fat, soy, gluten, all of that. That's exactly right. So we did it. We turned it on. We turned the monster on because of convenience, because we were running late, because we did not meal prep. Meal prep is key, right? Okay. When you don't meal prep, you cheat when you're not prepared. And we don't cheat with salmon and broccoli. I can tell you that. So we've created it. Now we've got kids that won't eat. Now we've got kids that won't try asparagus. They won't try a rutabaga. They won't try a parsnip or a turnip, right?
They're so good though.
Eat it, right? Yes, that's so right. Good. So you offer it to them multiple times. So here's what I tell my patients. Is your 6-year-old Ubering it out to Kroger and buying Cheetos? Who's bringing the friggin' Cheetos in the house? It's not the 6-year-old. It's us. We're bringing the processed packaged food in. If it's not in the house, they're not going to get it. If you can change this before these kids turn 16, then you've got a chance. But once they've got their driver's license, they can drive out to any fast food place they want.
Fair point.
We If we're the ones bringing the food in, shame on us. That's right. So they're not spending their allowance Ubering to Kroger or Instacarting it in. They're not. So it's up to us to change it slowly. If the kid can read, you hand them something like the Virgin Diet Cookbook, or, I mean, golly, there's so many cookbooks out there that are gluten, dairy, soy, corn, sugar, egg, peanut free to try start. You hand them a cookbook and you say, all right, Jackson, like that's my oldest, Jackson, I want you to pick out 5 new recipes. I am sick and tired of feeding you the same food over and over. I'm feeding you the same 5 meals and it's not helping. Let's pick out 5 new recipes. They will never know there's no gluten in that. No, because they're not going to read. They're just going to look at the title or the picture and say, Mom, I want to try, I don't know, chicken Tostitos. I don't know. And they're gluten and dairy free. They're made that way. Get the kids involved. You may not have the energy to put them in the kitchen, but kids want to be in the kitchen, by the way. That the research shows that they want to cook. Now, I was a single mom and I was so stressed. I did not want my kids in the kitchen. The studies show that kids want to be in the kitchen with mom or mom and dad, or, you know, the just dad or just mom, but we don't. We push them away. We just want to get it done fast because kids slow it down, but we're not doing them any favors by pushing them out of the kitchen. So don't bring the food in the house. Get the kids involved in the meal planning and the meal prepping. Become real familiar with your farmer's market, because your farmer's market are going to grow foods that are in season, and you're going to get to, the kids are going to get to see how this food is done on a budget. I tell all of my patients on a budget, shop at Aldi's. Aldi's is one of my all-time favorite grocery stores. They are a part of the Trader Joe's family.
Oh, I didn't know that. Are they really?
Aldi's has so many. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So Aldi's and Trader Joe's are in the same company. So they actually overlap a lot, but it's different brands, same things. Aldi's has so much organic food, it's not even funny. Excuse me, at a discount, like a really good discount. So I'm a big fan of Aldi's. I'm a big fan of Walmart. They are the largest suppliers of organic food in the world. All Walmart is, but many people don't know that. And when you go to Walmart, you see a lot of that organic food on clearance because people don't know and they don't buy it there. But they have a great, great selection. You don't have to buy everything organic. I just want you feeding your kids healthy, one ingredient food, something new. You know, print something off the internet or show it and say, we're going to try something orange this week. I don't care what, if it's tangerines, if it's orange bell peppers, if it's orange butternut squash, I don't care. I need you to pick one thing out and we're going to figure out how to cook it. Kids are curious. They will do it if you just help them. And the research shows if you will let kids graze during the day, if you'll set a tray out of the foods you want them to eat, like new vegetables, new fruits, hummus, they will run and play and do their thing all day, and they'll come back and they'll nibble and they'll graze all day and they'll try things. It doesn't have to be a fight.
I hope not. I hope
also if they don't eat for 2 weeks, it's fine. They're going to be fine. And just look them in the eye and say, look, there are kids all over the world who haven't eaten for 2 weeks and they're still alive. Well, they'll be horrified, but you know, they might actually try that asparagus then if they think that they're not going to get anything for 2 weeks. But it takes about 3 or 4 times introducing food to children for them to actually maybe like it. But get them involved. Ask them, what do you want? Let's try this. Ooh. And that starts with automating, eliminating, and delegating all the extra stuff in your life so that you actually have time to feed the next generation of children what's going to help them thrive in school.
Ooh, I got chills. That was good. That was so good. I can feel your passion. Oh, I get chills sometimes when that happens. It's really great. It's really great. So, okay. Good. So another part of being well, though, is like the mental health of it all. Like I assume eating right and eating well affects the way that your mental health has, like it has an impact. So like, how did it have an impact on you? And then like, how has it had an impact on others that you have seen?
You bet. Do you know that 80%, 80% of the serotonin in the human body is located in the small intestine? Up to 80% of all serotonin is in the small intestine. Serotonin is what helps you from being depressed, helps keep you from being depressed and anxiety ridden. So when the gut is inflamed, the microbiome, the gut is inflamed, so are the symptoms of anxiety, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, ADD, ADHD, OCD, trichotillomania. Every psych issue is inflamed. When you heal the gut, you begin to heal the brain. I watch it every week in my office. Patients decreasing their antidepressants, decreasing their anti-anxiety meds, decreasing their ADD, ADHD meds, because we began to heal the gut. Mm-hmm. So when the gut's inflamed, so is the depression and the anxiety. I know that. I was there. I lived it. I almost ended my life at a horrible season in my life, but I was also eating horribly. I was stressed out. I had no idea that what you eat or what you don't eat can control and contribute greatly to my mental health. And of course, right now, as you and I were talking earlier, I'm on the board for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Suicide is near and dear to my heart because of my family history of suicide. During the pandemic, phone calls to suicide crisis lines have gone up 800%, Abigail, 800% phone calls to suicide crisis lines, while phone calls to domestic violence lines have gone down almost as much. The people who are being abused by their abusers, domestic violence, aren't able to call. Right. They were stuck in their house. Right. But the suicide crisis lines went through the roof, as did suicide. Well, a pandemic, we now have a mental health pandemic on our hands, but we also did not eat as well as we should have, right? We also contributed to a lot of that gut, leaky gut and microbiome issues and anxiety and depression by eating sugar and gluten and dairy and all the processed foods. So when you heal the gut, you begin to heal the brain. It's amazing. It is connected to your mental health. And we know this through decades of research. But how many times has your psychiatrist, I saw multiple psychiatrists through the years, never once was I asked, what are you eating?
Oh, never. I've never been asked.
Your diet contributes to your depression. That's right. That's exactly right. Now, you're really good cutting edge psychiatrists now and therapists definitely know that the gut and the brain are 100% connected, and they begin to make changes there. And talking to patients about their diet and amino acids and things like that, it's completely connected. You can't be well, and you can't be well mentally and psychologically if your gut is on fire.
Well, I mean, that just doesn't even make sense. So let's take a detour just for a minute, talk about suicide prevention hotlines. I did 2 episodes on suicide prevention hotlines, and I did not find them helpful at all. The most recent attempt that I had was in 2019.
Really?
Yeah. It was in 2019. And I went to jail instead of being able to be given the help that I needed at the time. But that's not really the point of the story. The point is that it's upon us and it can happen to anybody. And I don't know if when I started to eat better, that those thoughts started to go away. I couldn't tell you if that were true. I just know that I started to feel better, and that made me to not want to have those thoughts anymore. I was less likely to have those thoughts. I don't know if that makes sense. But did you have a similar experience when you changed your diet over? But I don't know if like I said, I don't know I don't know if it was like directly correlated. I just remember that like I felt better. And so I didn't feel like crap anymore. So I didn't want to die as much. I don't know if that makes sense, but you go, you tell me.
Exactly. You bet. When people change their diet, I see this every day. Now, I'll tell you what, I have a patient. She was suicidal. She's been institutionalized multiple times for suicidal attempts and suicidal thoughts. And she came to me. She's morbidly obese. She's on every medication known to man. I mean, multiple, probably 12, 13 different pharmaceuticals, mental health, and, blood pressure and all these things. And we have got her. She now is strong enough to where she's not suicidal anymore. She's not depressed. Now, she's got lots of reasons to be depressed. Husband died. She witnessed it. He fell off a truck and died. Lots of things have happened to this woman. But she's healing the gut. I saw her 2 weeks ago. She walked in and she looked completely different, and she made a turn. It took probably 6 months of me working with her before she really understood at the end, what's at the end of her fork was going to heal you or kill you. Simple as that. And she has made a turn. And let me tell you, she is gluten-free now. Her psychiatrist, she has a psychiatrist, she has a therapist, she's got a lots of mental health team. They are blown away at her progress. She's still overweight. She's lost a little bit of weight, but she's still overweight, but she's moving her body more, and she is no longer suicidal. She is healing the body from the inside out, and she's doing it one step at a time, one day at a time. And sometimes it's 1 hour at a time, right?
Yeah.
1 hour at a time to just get through. That's right. And then eventually it becomes 2 days at a time, and then 3, and then a week at a time. And then you look back and you're like, whoa, I'm not where I need to be, but I'm so much better than I was. And I'm on my way. And once you start to get that little glimmer, this, of hope, right? Hope is not a strategy, though. You've got to have a strategy. Once you start to feel better and you get some hope, man, there's no stopping you. And we're going to have setbacks. Everyone has setbacks. That's life. That's life. But when you feel well, when your body is becoming well, you handle those bumps in the road so much better. They don't put you in a tailspin, right?
Right.
It's the tailspins that cause people to die by suicide.
Mm-hmm. No, it is. That's very, very true. It is. That's what happened to me. It was like boom, 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 boom. And I put off a bunch of stuff. I put off dealing with a bunch of stuff. And then one thing led to another. And there we were. And, but after, luckily I was able to get out of that place. But I do think that part of that was that I decided I sort of didn't believe it at first. I was very hesitant, and I was very like, I don't know if there's anything actually to this, but we're going to give it a shot because I got nothing left. And I tried it, and it sort of amazed me a little bit that like when my body started to physically feel better, I didn't feel so bad. Like my world didn't feel like it was crushing in on me anymore.
That's exactly.
Or not anymore, but like as bad. Is that what happened with you? Is that
That's
like
exactly what happened to me?
Yeah.
And then I got off of antidepressants and I felt bad. It was like, what? And I was 44. You're a kid. I was 44 years old before I knew that I was supposed to feel 100%. Now, you don't feel 100% every day.
No.
At all, by any means. But once you begin to heal your body from the inside out, you handle those setbacks much easier. And that's exactly what happened to me. And I was like, man, there's something to this. And then I also am a nurse practitioner who is helping people heal. And Dan Cowd looked at me one day and said, you better walk the walk. If you're asking your patients to do this, you need to do this. And they don't need to see you eating the bread basket and the biscuits at Cracker Barrel if you're eating out. Literally, people are watching you. right?
Yeah.
People are watching. So I pretend all the time that people are watching me, even though they're not. And I try to do the right thing. Now, I'm not perfect, but the gut and the serotonin and the GABA and the L-glutamine and the tryptophan, all of that is in the gut. The majority of it is. And all of those are your feel-good neurotransmitters that decrease anxiety and decrease depression. And when you start to feed those boogers in there what they need, I mean, your entire world turns around. And then you're a survivor and you're a thriver and you are a warrior. You are the warrior that you were designed to be. I attended the funeral of one of my good friends and a patient of mine Sunday who shot herself, 40-something years old, and she died by suicide a week ago Sunday, and her little 9-year-old boy found her. And I attended a funeral Sunday night that was probably the hardest thing I've done ever, funeral-wise, ever. I can't imagine losing a child would be worse than what I went through, but for sure. But I sat there and I couldn't believe it, because this was a patient and a friend. She was a friend before she was a patient. And I missed it, as did all of her friends. All of her friends. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw it coming. Now I can blame COVID. I can blame past psych stuff. I can do lots of things. I don't know. But she didn't put off any signs to any of us, but there are plenty of people who do put off signs, right? They're not right. They're not acting right. They're more withdrawn. And I beg people every day, you be the one person who asks the hard question to Abigail, right? Are you thinking about killing yourself? What's going on with you? Right. You may be the only person who asks that question and who saves that person's life, because you give them an opportunity to open up. And we don't do that. We're uncomfortable with awkward. Yeah. And the AFSP has an entire program called Seize the Awkward. I was watching the news yesterday and a 1-minute commercial came on from AFSP on Seize the Awkward. Be the person who asks the question. Be the person who notices my coworker, my family member, my friend is not acting right. Something's wrong. Now, some people don't show anything. And that's what happened to my friend. We didn't see anything current going on with her. But you may be the one person who reaches out. I hate to hear that about suicide crisis lines for you, because the AFSP, the suicide crisis line, that we use, and the text line, I mean, I'm telling you, they are on top of it. I know. Can you
drop that? Can you tell everybody what that is so that they know? And I'll put it in the description too, guys.
Put it in the show notes. The suicide crisis line. I have this in my phone. You can see this, but they can't. Yeah. It's actually a contact. It is. And I share it with people every day. And it says suicide crisis prevention. And the phone number is 800-273-8255. 24/7. It is manned. If you don't feel like calling, you can text, help, talk, anything to 741-741. That is a crisis text line that is manned 24/7, 365. Someone will get back to you immediately. Okay, guys. Texting, so maybe that's better for some people. And you could text whatever you want to it and you will get help immediately. The phone line also. I had a friend call the phone line and talk to them while she was driving into me 3 hours from somewhere else. She said, I'm either going to drive off the interstate or and I said, you're coming straight to me right now, right now. And she came and she talked to the suicide crisis line on the way to my house in Nashville, and we got her help. But I mean, it works. It does. I'm sorry that what you went through, because that's unfortunate. Yeah. Yeah. So I will put that in the show notes, guys. Please do. So that everybody has that, so it's easily accessible, because that's what we need. We need good resources for things like that. And every state in the United States has an American Foundation for Suicide chapter, multiple ones in many states. All you have to do is go to afsp.org and it'll say find a chapter, volunteer. our big walk is in October, the Out of Darkness Walk. I mean, there's help out there. You can get involved. If you've been affected by suicide, someone you know has died by suicide, you have had lived experience like you and I have. That's called lived experience, to where we thought about it. We made a plan. You can volunteer with your local chapter. I'm telling you, get yourself involved. We have support groups. And when you're giving back to others, it takes your mind off of what's going on with you. When
it's part of being well.
Back, you bet it is. It's a huge part of being well. It's cultivating community also, because then you start to find new community. That's my 6th step to healing, cultivating community. People heal when they have community. We are the loneliest society in the history of man. The loneliest. Yet we have more social media. We have this, we have that. And then what did we do last year? We were locked down. We are not designed as humans to live in isolation. Not at all. We are pack creatures. We thrive in community. Jesus had community. If you believe in Jesus, Jesus had community. I believe in Jesus, but he had 12 disciples around him that were absolute nutcases. They were human, flawed people just like us, but guess what? They were his community. But not everyone gets the right to be in your community.
Right.
And, you know, we don't believe that oftentimes as women. And again, we don't cut out the ones that are sucking the life out of us. Jesus had a community, but then he had an inner circle inside his community. And it only takes 1 or 2 roots to hold a tree up. And you don't need a huge group of leaves out there flittering around, floating off. You need some roots. But you can have a lot of community, but you need some roots. So it's very important. And we need community right now in this time in 2021 more than we've ever needed community.
I totally agree. Oh my gosh.
You're so pretty. Look at you just smiling from ear to ear. I love it. You're so pretty.
Oh my gosh. You remind me. I don't know if I know you guys can't see her, but I don't know who knows who Jody Mencia is. She's a country singer from way back when. That's who you look like. And she's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Or like Julia Roberts in like My Best Friend's Wedding. Like,
I hear Julia Roberts quite a bit, but you know who I hear the most is Merida from Brave, from the movie, the Disney movie. Yes! I hear it. Oh yeah. All the time. Going through airports, little children will say, Mama, it's Merida. Mama, it's Merida. Oh, it's funny. Yes. I dressed up as Merida recently as something. And yeah, it was great. So thank you. But what you are doing is putting the word out here about being well. I mean, there's a huge difference in just surviving and thriving, being well and being okay. You want your listeners to be well. I want my people to be well. And we can be well. We can be. You don't have to settle for just okay. And we're settling. No, we're not settlers, man. We are fighters and we've got to thrive. And we don't want our children to settle for well. I mean, for okay. No. If your child was sick, you would make sure that you did everything in their power, that they took their vitamins every day, that they ate real food every day, that they got the sleep they needed, that they got the movement they needed. You would go to the ends of the earth to make sure your child was going to thrive and get through that chronic disease or that cancer diagnosis. Why do we not do that for ourselves? Why don't we put our oxygen mask on first?
You're supposed to.
You bet we are. You bet we are, because when you are 150%, then it's a trickle down theory. So's your family, so's your friends, so's your work. So everything is better when you're 100%, but you have to be 100% for yourself. Yeah. Because you deserve to be 100% and you're worthy to be well.
Everybody is.
Everybody. So our oxygen mask needs to go on tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever you're listening to this today, you start to set boundaries and you get your life together. If you choose one thing, just pick one thing. I don't care what it is, and begin to live the life that you were designed to live, because we're on a hamster wheel. Isn't that what that's called?
Yeah.
That thing. And you get off. I challenge every single one of you to get off of it and you start setting some boundaries and you say, I'm not living like this anymore. We're going to make some changes. And when you start setting boundaries and make changes, the world bucks up. They don't like it. They don't like it. Big deal, big shit deal. Who cares? You get one life. I don't know. People say we got more lives. Maybe we do, but we got one life right now that we need to live to the best of our ability.
I totally agree. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming on. Oh, this is so
Lord.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So sorry about all the technical difficulties.
Don't worry about it. They'll get it. They'll get what they need out of this.
Well,
and if they don't, they can look us up. They can look us up online.
And tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, DaniWilliamson.com is my website, and it links you to everything. I mean, I have a video course on there that's what we marked it down just recently to $29 when this book started coming out so that everybody could do it. I have an Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube that are the same thing, Dani Williamson Wellness. And I put out free education 7 days a week. I mean, I have so much free education on everything from sex drive to constipation. I mean, you name it, I've got it. And I just believe that we need to give, when you've been given much, and I have been blessed beyond measure the last 10 years, for sure the last 5 years, that you need to give back. And if you can't come see me, if you can't afford a functional medicine provider, then I've got so much out there, as do many people who do what I do. And then I wrote the book. The book comes out November the 9th, right? And we're sending you a copy, by the way. So I have to have your physical address. You just send it to me in email, and you're going to get a copy of the book. But the book is #1 on Amazon right now. I just checked it an hour ago. It's #1 on new releases for thyroid health. It's not necessarily a thyroid book, but there it is, #1 right there on Amazon. It's on every place you want to buy, but this book is written for the common person, the lay person, the person who has been told for years that they've got a lifestyle, a chronic disease that they can't get rid of, the person who had adverse childhood experiences before the age of 18 that set them up, trauma before the age of 18 that set them up for a world of hurt. This book is for people who've been told there's nothing we can do. It's common sense, practical medicine. And it's my entire eat well, sleep well, move well, poop well, decrease stress, cultivate community, my steps in every chapter on what you do. And it's a book so that people know they're not broken. They are perfect right now where they are, and wherever they are, they can get back to where they were designed to live. It's a good book. I'm real happy, and it's doing well. It hasn't even released yet. It doesn't come out for 2 more months. No, 3 months. No, 2.5 months. And it's #1 because I'm telling you, people need this message more than ever. I am a believer. It's not a Jesus book. It's not a Christian book, but God is woven all through it, because for those people who are believers, they get down and depressed. And I just want them to know that God's got their back, but they got to help him. He's in the business of creating miracles, but by gosh, you got to put your work in as well. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Meet him halfway.
Meet him halfway, man. And I'm telling you, your life will turn around. So we're all over social media, and I'm real blessed that I have a good little tribe, and I've got a private community on Facebook too, called Inside Out Healing from Within. It's got about 11,000 members on it, and it's private. You have to ask to join. I'll approve you. No big deal. Just I'll approve you. But it is loaded with 10,000, 11,000 people who are willing to help you get to where you need to be.
I'm so excited for you. Oh my gosh. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm 55 years old. I'm getting older. I feel like I've got the short amount. I mean, no, that's a lie. I'm going to live to 120. I'm going to life hack it. So I'm almost halfway midlife. I'm almost midway, but God forbid something happened to me and I got killed or something, accidentally tragic. I feel like I'm on this rush to get as much information out there, because I was 44 years old before I turned around a lifetime of chronic disease. And I just want everyone to know that if I can do it, this little girl from Gilbertsville, Kentucky, who literally grew up eating Betty Crocker canned icing out of a can, right? Loved it. Still like Pillsbury cookie dough roll, eating that. I mean, who hasn't eaten? If I can turn around 24 years of chronic lifestyle diseases, anybody can. Anybody can. Anybody can.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations on all of your stuff. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. That's amazing. You can check us out on the Manic Pixie Weirdo at protonmail.com. Email me. If you don't want to email me, you can check out Dani. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can, but if not, then I'll send you her way. The_main_weirdo is the Instagram, and at MP Weirdo Podcast is the Twitter. You can contact us. Thank you so much, Dani, for talking to us today.
Thank you. You are doing amazing work out there. Keep it up. Keep it up. I'm very proud. I'm so proud to have met you, and I'm honored to be on here today. And I just want you to keep spreading the light, because you're doing it. You have a story of healing.
Yeah, I'm trying.
People need to know. Well, we're never, 150%. We're not, because we're works in progress. There was only one perfect person. It's not me, and it's not you, right? So we're not perfect, but we're on that journey. And I mean, golly, what a great opportunity to get to touch people like you do. What an honor.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to have been able to talk to you. As always, guys, thank you for listening, and be kind and stay weird. Have a good one, guys.